And so with that, we can consider all of those things that we may have, but a lot of it has to be adopted as a part of the policy to be mandated by the companies. Because even if, for example, you have provided that PPE to the employees, you have provided that that physical barriers, but if it's not actually being adopted as a part of the company policies and protocol, it's going to be not, well, the success is not going to be there. Because what we're thinking here is that the promotion of employee safety and wellness. And part of it, as captured with the interim guidelines that's been provided by the different international and local body is, one is the development of the infectious disease and preparedness plan. So the type of information campaign, a lot of the information campaign material are out there that's available to everyone. But what is it that the company should be able to choose so that it's going to be matching the type of exposure and the type of requirement for their businesses? The sickness and absence monitoring, it's important, but another thing to look into here is that based on our practice in the industry, what we are seeing is that when an employee is sick, the one that's actually being notified is the immediate superior, right? But there might be a need for us to revisit it so that that information should be actually received by the team who's going to be providing not only a way to keep tab of people who has reported, but provide an advice. What is needed to be done? Is that person going to be advised to self-isolate, quarantine, or be referred to the facility? So hence, it's going to be like going back to what we have currently and then ensuring that our practice, our policy is on point with how do we manage these types of cases. And of course, the previous speaker has mentioned about the reviewing of the employee, the different employee demographics, those with diabetes, those with hypertension being at risk in this case to be when they are actually exposed to the virus. But another thing here is that some of the local corporates now are using the review of the employee demographics so that if there is a need for them to reassign these employees to different roles, if someone has comorbidities like diabetes and hypertension, maybe that person, that employee should not be put on the front line. Like, for example, being the receptionist or being as a bank teller or being like a bagger in a supermarket location. So that is also how important is that we have to have that record and review of the demographics of our people, not only like the age and all, but even the different comorbidities. That's the reason why we've been having those annual physical examination. We've been having all of those on-site consultation. We have to use those information in ensuring that in the preparation of the infectious disease and preparedness plan, we have it. On the basic infection and prevention measure, so like the frequent hand washing, encouraging sick people to stay at home, the respiratory etiquette. So here is that maybe the use of the different technology tools, like for example, our mobile phone, our email, that of the different video loop in your organization. And of course, the prompt identification and isolation of sick employees. So the interim guidelines on workplace prevention by the DOLE and DTI has explicitly mentioned about the mandate to establish hotline for that of the employers, so that these employers should actually be able to receive information remotely rather than just reporting it as the physical first face-to-face consultation is happening. So we should also be looking into what are the technology that are available out there in the market, or probably currently available with our partners. Like, for example, some of the HMOs currently are using telemedicine. So instead of them queuing for that of the consultation or having a physical consultation, is it something that we can do via the use of that of the technology? There's also a checklist that's also been prescribed by the local government body. And this checklist is not only applicable for the employees, but even to the visitors. So they are very explicit when it comes to screening everyone who's going to be coming into the office. But of course, that screening is not necessarily COVID testing, but maybe just a form of that of the thermal screening. And the necessity for us to ensure that once we have those information, we should be able to have case monitoring, because of course, one is that of the screening. We will be advising them to stay at home, but there should also be a team to actually monitor to these different types of people if they are actually suspect or they are kind of employee classification, if they are required to test themselves for COVID testing, or if there is a need for them to be referred to a tertiary hospital that is specialized in COVID type of cases. Next.